Welcome to Driven by Janelle, the podcast where passion meets power and women take the lead on two wheels. What drives you to ride?
So I am Janelle Bailey from Driven by Janelle, and I am here today with Lance Jensen of Integrity Garage Floors. As you guys know, we have been building out our garage, and Lance did our pink epoxy floor garage floors. And just in talking with Lance as a business owner, I really have admired the way he runs his company. My staff enjoyed interacting with his staff. And I have him here today to talk about our garage floors and about how he built his business and what his company culture is like and what makes Integrity Garage Floors full of so much integrity and fun and all of that. So we have Lance Jensen here.
Well, thank you, Janelle. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for having us. And I'll tell you, we're having a blast with you guys. I mean, it started from the very beginning, and you came to us and you said, I want this pink floor to put motorcycles on. I thought, wow, we're in 100%. This is going to be a great project, and it really turned out beautiful.
Yeah, no, I mean, everyone who's walked by the garage floors, they've all stopped. Like, oh my gosh, what is that? Like, I'll be sitting in the parking lot and the doors will be open and people will just walk by and just stop and ask questions. So it's a beautiful floor. So
it was a really special creation for us. So that particular floor is called a metallic, and so. And we prep the concrete in the same way we would always prep it. So we bring in a big concrete grinder and we grind the surface. And then we lay down an epoxy base coat. We get a better bond with the concrete with epoxies. And that initial layer of epoxy then seals the concrete. And then it provides us for the first layer of this floor. Then the next layer is the color coat, and that's where you see the pink, right? Mm-hmm. And it is marbly and it's swirly, it's fun, it's weird, it's exciting, and we literally used a color called bikini pink and pearl, and so we mix them up, and they come in 3-gallon kits, and we pour them out on the floor. Then we squeegee the whole thing out. And they get off it, right? You let it do its magic, and then it swirls around. It's a chemistry thing. It's called motion dynamics. The stuff doesn't actually move; it looks like it's moving. And then we put a clear polyaspartic on top of it with some grit in it, so you won't fall on your backside. Yeah. And we're really, really proud of that floor. I think it looks great.
Yeah. I love it. It's like I'm just going to move my desk in there and I'm just going to work out of the garage, and so that'll be perfect. Just who needs windows when you have marble pink floors?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I really enjoyed meeting your staff and everyone when you guys came out. They're so easy to work with and exciting to work with, and an exciting project. So you're the owner of Integrity Garage Floors, right?
That's correct.
And how long have you had your company for?
Well, I started into concrete coatings in 2011. I'd been in the franchise business for a long time, and I just needed a new industry, a new something to go into. I'd been in the restaurant business for a long time, all the way from owning and running restaurants, building them for other people, franchising, and it saw the whole from the bottom to the top. And I just after the world fell apart in 2008, I could not bear to sell another restaurant franchise. And so I went out looking, and I wanted to create a franchise, and my parameters were, and I looked at thousands of businesses, and my parameters were I had to have something that was the core of it was fun, right? And there had to be some fun in it, and then it had to make money for the franchisee. And I found this in a little distributorship where they were selling coatings to applicators. I took that, I turned it into a franchise. The franchise side of it was difficult because what happened is you really don't provide a value for the franchisee. When I was in the restaurant business, we provided a value for the franchisee. They needed us and they relied on it. In this business, once the franchisee got good at it, I wasn't able to do that much for them. And they were sending me a lot of money. And so the relationship became very contentious. And I finally said, the heck with it. And I sold it to another company. And that would allowed me to open up my own operations business where we actually install garage floors. And that was in 2016. A couple of years later, we changed the name from the old franchise to Integrity Garage Floors, and that's kind of the short story of how we got into it. So.
That's exciting. Well, it's so cool that you started with fun.
Yes, absolutely. Those were the two parameters. Had to be profitable, and it had to be fun. And in garage floors, we found it, right? I mean, the garage it can be the best room in the house, and it can also be the worst room in the house. And what we do is we take it from the worst room in the house to the best room in the house. And if you can't have fun doing that, get out of here.
Yeah, no, I think garages, they can be, that's what ours is. It's going to be a really cool space and a creative space, and you have this blank canvas. You can just make it whatever you want.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah. So when you started building your company, how did you, I guess, infuse the fun and all of that?
Yeah. So we are. So I shouldn't say we. I am very, very proud of the company culture that I built inside of Integrity Garage Floors. And it has become a we. There are now 9 of us in the company. I am so blessed to have this group of people around me, and anywhere from our office management staff, our sales staff, the people who are the techs that do the work. You met and worked with those guys, and you work with all of them, and it's just been this monster blessing in my life. And it comes from a philosophy like the core values of our company. And it goes back to it's an acronym called CORE, which stands for Commitment, Ownership, Responsibility, and Excellence. There's a guy by the name of Sir David Brailsford, and he was the British cycling guy. And he and Rupert Murdoch got together. Britain has a cycling culture, right? So everybody rides their bicycles around, right? It's the perfect area for riding bicycles. So they have this bicycling culture, but they had won no Tour de France's, and they had only won 1 Olympic medal in the past 100 years. So Brailsford and Rupert Murdoch got together and they said, how can we change this? What can we do? And so it was called Team Sky, and they got together, and Brailsford was the manager. And so by the time he was done, they won 3 out of 4 Tour de France's. They cleaned up at the Beijing Olympics, and he was knighted, right? So he went from, right?
Knighted? Oh my gosh.
So it went from Dave to Sir David Brailsford.
Wow.
Right? And there are a number of people that I like to watch what they've done and how they've done it, how it can affect us. Kobe Bryant's another one who I think is just tremendous. So the Brailsford came up with this core values, right? And it stands for commitment, ownership, responsibility, and excellence. So the first one is commitment. And so with commitment, what is it? What are you committed to? And we know what the word means, right? But what is it that we're committed to? So the first thing is we're committed to each other, right? So the old saying, I got your back, right? Well, we actually do have each other's backs in this company,
Yeah.
And so being committed to each other is a big part of it. Are we committed to making the boss more money? Yeah. That's not the significant part of it. That's one of the results of it, right? But being committed to each other, being committed to the organization is an important piece of it. So, are you committed to the organization and their values? And then is the company committed to you, right? Because if you're going to be committed to the company has to be committed to you.
Right.
And then we are committed to getting better every day. That's kind of the Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality, is getting better every single day. And so commitment is where we hire, we fire, and we quit, right? So when we go out to hire somebody, we're looking for somebody that we can be committed to and that will be committed to us. Then we're going to take their skill set and fit them into our company, right? But
Right.
we're going to start with commitment. So once we have somebody who's committed, that's somebody that we're going to hire. Now, when they become uncommitted, or we become uncommitted to them, right? Now it's time to fire them, or it's time for them to quit. And you think about it, okay, if I've got somebody who's not committed to me, I'm going to fire them, right? If they have a company that's not committed to them, by God, you ought to quit, right?
Yeah.
Like life's too short for that kind of, for that kind of a lifestyle.
Right.
And so, if you're going to have a blast, right?
Yeah.
You got to be committed, and you got to have people that are committed to you. So
Right.
that's the first piece of it. The next part is ownership, right? So as the boss, I do not own my employees. I don't even own their time, right? I simply exchange some money for what they're doing with their time. So I ask my employees to own their job. And in lots and lots of times through this philosophy, they will call and say, okay, what do I do in this situation? And so we'll throw back and have some ideas and so forth. And then they know what my opinion is. I know what their opinion is. Now I want them to own the problem and solve it and take care of that. And there are many times when they'll say, hey, what's the decision here, boss? And I don't know. I don't own that job. You do.
Yeah.
So do your best, and then it circles back to commitment, right? So if you're going to own your job and you're going to make decisions, you have to take risks when you make decisions. And if you screw it up, the company's got to have your back, right? It can't fly off the handle every time somebody makes a mistake.
Yeah.
And so we ask our employees to own their jobs. We empower them to own their jobs. And then they give that back to us. And it's a wonderful way to have the employees of the company act and react.
Yeah.
Now, if you're going to own your job, you got to be responsible for it, right?
Yeah. Can't have one without the other.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to own the house, you've got to pay the mortgage. So now, under responsibility, there are some things that you need some philosophies for, because being responsible means you need some philosophy on how to act. So the first philosophy under responsibility is what we call wrong, and what happens when something goes wrong, right?
Yeah.
So no matter how hard you work at it, no matter how hard you try to get better every day, no matter how organized you are, we work with equipment, we work in a different place every single day, we work with different people, we work with different customers, and eventually something's going to go wrong. So when something goes wrong, the first thing we do is you fix it, right? I don't care how hard you have to work. I don't care what it costs. I don't care what needs to be done. I don't care if I have to come down and help you solve the problem. But we're going to get it fixed. Now, it is tough to get a good old-fashioned ass chewing in my organization. But if you want one, don't fix something that's wrong.
Yeah. Sign up for it.
Then, so now, once you've fixed it, now we have to take a step back and say, okay, who, what, where, how, and why. We ask who, not to say, hey, Janelle, you did something wrong, we hate you for it, right? Now you're in trouble, right?
Right.
We say who because that is the person who is now responsible to make sure the rest of us don't do that again.
Right.
I have a great story behind it. Our foreman, Javier, is the one who was headed up your pink floor.
Yeah.
He comes into the shop and the trailer is dripping with epoxy, right? So something that people don't know about epoxies is it's a two-part coating. So you have to mix A and B and they react. If you don't have A and B together, they won't react and it won't harden. So you have a sticky, syrupy mess that won't ever get hard. It doesn't dry like paint, right?
Yeah.
So Javier pulls in and the trailer's just dripping with epoxy. And so he and Ishmael get to work and they cleaned it all up. They fixed it, right? So then we asked Javier, okay, who, what, where, how, why? And so at our next employee meeting, then Javier got up in front of all of us and he said, okay, the who is me because I was the foreman on the job and the mess was created, right? So what happened is a bucket was put on top of a box and the lid was not secured. And they went around the corner and the bucket fell over, right?
Yeah.
So the rules then were, okay, when you use epoxy, no matter what stage of the game is, you have to secure the lid, right?
Right.
The other is nothing gets stacked in the trailer, so you don't put a bucket of epoxy on top of a box. You don't stack it on another bucket. You just put it on the floor, right?
Right.
And we have not seen, and this is several years ago.
There you go.
But we haven't seen that problem again since. So, and then Javier is also responsible for enforcing with the rest of us that we don't do that wrong, right? So if he sees me put a bucket of epoxy on top of a box, he's like, And so that's why we ask who, is so that they can make sure that the rest of us can understand how not to do that.
Right,
So,
right. That's good responsibility.
Yeah, and it gives you a philosophy now. So the old style of management, right? And I like to think of management now as coaching, not as managing, right? But the old style of management is you tell the employees what to do. You wait for something to go wrong, then you chew them out. Well, that doesn't help them get better, right?
Yeah.
They have to help themselves get better. And so by having a philosophy to work with when something goes wrong is just a tremendous part of that. The other thing that we think of in responsibility is having fun in your job. And when I tell you we're having a blast, we are having a blast, right? We have a lot of fun, but we take having fun seriously. Like it's a serious part of what we do. And when you work with us, you'll see us laughing and teasing and carrying on and playing, but that's very structured, and we think that that's part of your responsibility. And if you think of it, if you make $100 and you had fun making that $100, or you made $100 and it wasn't any fun, right?
Yeah.
That $100 you made, either way, isn't going to spend any better, right?
Right.
But the one you made having fun is a better value.
Yeah.
And so if you're responsible to have fun in your job, okay, now the people around you, they're going to have fun, and it plays off of each other. And pretty soon, all of us, including our customers, are having a blast.
Well, I had fun. I'll say that much.
We had fun with you, too.
Yeah,
I think that's one of the reasons we're here.
Yeah, and the pink, but yes.
Could it be any more fun than a pink floor with a pink motorcycle.
Yeah,
Right?
I love it. Well, I will say your employees seem to also have fun, like, doing the job and all of that. And I mean, all your values that you mentioned, they seem to just all flow seamlessly
Yeah.
with at least my interaction with everyone. So,
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And then the last one, the E, stands for excellence, right? So if you look at it this way, okay, you're committed, okay? The people in the company around you are committed back to you. So you're committed to them, they're committed to you. You get better every single day.
right.
You own your job, right? So this isn't the place you go to punch the clock. This is something you own. You're responsible for it. You know how to act when something goes wrong, and you're having fun doing it. If all of those pieces come together, you have to be excellent.
Yeah.
You can't. Like,
It'd be hard not to.
You cannot be anything but excellent. And so, that's our core values, and that's how we've built a company that has. And I'm pretty sure I coat more garage floors than anybody else in the state, and that's how we've gotten there.
Yeah, from having fun and your core values. But yes. Yes. Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. And so did you, coming up with your company culture, I know you've owned other businesses. Was it something that kind of evolved for you, or that when you made this company, you're like, I'm going to change, and you learned, or how did you come to have these core values?
That's a great question. So the first business that I owned and operated was a Dairy Queen when I was 24 years old.
I love Dairy Queen.
My father and I opened a Dairy Queen together. He was a dentist, and he loaned me the money, and I opened and operated the business. And so that's 40 years ago, right? And for 40 years, I've been owning and operating businesses. This has evolved, right? So, you wish you knew now. You wish you knew then what you know now. That would have significantly helped me in businesses as I was younger. But over 40 years of trying to get better all the time, this is something that we've figured out, really in the last 15 years, and so that's how, that's how we grew into that.
Yeah. Well, growth is a big deal. I'll say at my firm, every Friday we go over 3 things: what went well this week, what did we find challenging or fail at, and what did we learn? Because it's always about growth. So I always tell people, I'm like, you have to fail. Like, you have to fail this week, otherwise I don't know what you did. Like, you have to fail or be challenged or, something, and then you learn from it. And then we're a growth-oriented firm. We're constantly growing and meeting a new challenge.
I love that.
Yeah. People meet in small groups. I try not to meet with people anymore because I don't know if they want to tell me what they failed at, but yeah. So it's like, let me go back and double check that you failed at, but yes.
And you guys meet together every Friday. We meet together on Tuesday mornings, and that's become our growth point. I need to make a point of having employee meetings. Take a little more time doing that, but that's our routine. Is Tuesday mornings we meet together in the shop, and so that's been a good part of it.
Yeah,
So.
I agree with you. I think company culture. For me, one of our pillars when I bring people on is firm culture is really important to me because, unless you're independently wealthy, you're going to have to work. You're going to spend a lot of time here, and you don't want to come into something miserable every day. Life is too short for that. So that's one thing I just, I love about you is just, I think we connect on having a good workspace to come into every day, because we have to do it. And I do think people work better if they're happier coming to work and, like you said, committed coming to work. And then maybe they'll work more. Maybe you'll make more money that way,
Yeah, no, it all comes together. It comes together with your job satisfaction, with the amount of money you make, with the money, that the people around you make. I have a great story from a customer of ours. Guy's worth probably $100 million, right? And the last thing in the world he needs is $50, right? And so he did his garage floor, and then he started sending his buddies to me, right? And so his buddies call up and they laugh and they tease about him, and then they send me their garage floors and we go and do them. And every time they do, I send Ron, I send him a handwritten note and $50 in cash, right?
Yeah.
And it's really been fun. He keeps sending his buddies to me. We keep having fun. And I keep sending him $50 bills.
He's going to have a little collection.
It's something that he doesn't need, but also he's built a company that has a great company culture. And you can tell, so the people that he sent to me mostly have worked with him and for him, and he made them wealthy as well. And I think that's just fabulous. Fabulous thing.
Definitely think it's like a mentality of like the pie can get bigger versus like fighting over all this stuff.
That's right. See, if you make the pie bigger, the slices the same size, a 1/8 slice is bigger. Did you come up with that?
No. I feel like we need some pie here now, but yeah. But yeah, just that, it's like the mentality, not the scarcity, but the abundance mentality type of thing. Yeah, the pie just gets bigger.
I love it. I love it.
And then I think everyone feels that way, like with your guy, like now there's even more business and more people, and it's not like you're fighting over things. Everything gets bigger. So that's amazing. Well, yeah, I love that you support women and support, entrepreneurs and pink. So
my pink shirt.
Yes. I forgot to put mine on today. So.
I have to tell you, we had a great time yesterday at the LeMay Museum.
Yeah.
That was a real honor and a pleasure to do the tour with you guys. I will never, ever forget riding down the main concourse past a car that John Rockefeller owned, right?
That's crazy.
Riding on the back of your pink motorcycle, like, woo! I arrived!
That's not what I thought of when we're like, we're going to go to the LeMay Museum. That's not something that was on the agenda. I doubt for Paul or for anyone there either. That was so grateful, to you and the LeMay Museum for hosting my cute little Royal Enfield. It has not been many places, but now I can say it's been to the LeMay. I need to get a little pin board for it, but yeah, that's so amazing, so much fun, so much fun.